Hi, it's Trudy, One Grounded Angel, here to read some angel cards for you for the week starting March the 1st through to the 7th, 2021. Nice and easy to remember. I do love it when the dates align like that. So let's shuffle the cards. Wow, one jumped out straight away, and what a beautiful card it is. Joy. I mean, when do we not need this reminder to have fun in our lives? Crazy that we need it, really. But I think I've got a lot of messages coming through. I think for most of us at a very basic level, this will be reminding us to enjoy our lives. Don't go through life trying to achieve things to be productive. Actually enjoy yourself. Do things for no other reason other than they make you happy. And that's enough of a reason to do it. So many of us grow up believing that our worth is tied to what we do. We need to perform for it. We need to be productive in order to be valued. This is not true, but many of us have this limiting belief deep in our energy. And that means if there is something coming up that is going to be fun, doesn't achieve anything, we're going to resist it, or we're going to do it but regret it, feel guilty, or we'll do it and just not be fully present for it because we're too busy thinking about all the other things on our to-do list. So this card is asking you to actually enjoy your life. It's really, really important. I know that's hard for many of you. You've got limitations on your lives at the moment, challenges due to the pandemic, but this card is reminding you it's still possible to have some moments, even if they're short, of enjoyment. I'm wondering if for some of you this card is going in deeper about a fear of joy. As I just touched on, sometimes we can do things and be resistant to the joy of that moment, and that for some of us there's actually a fear of joy, because joy means we have to surrender to the experience and not have as much control. If you're a control freak, that can be really difficult for you. I know I'm using the word control freak quite lightly here, but many of us actually do have serious control issues, because controlling things is how we feel safe. And so for us to stop controlling things, that's terrifying. And so a lot of us need a lot of help with therapy and energy healing to be able to do that, or to lessen the degree of control, if not give it up entirely, which is a little bit of a big ask. So just noticing if you are afraid of joy. Sometimes people have experiences where every time they do something they really love, something happens. The car breaks down, or they get hurt in some way. If it's a physical activity, maybe they get injured, or maybe something else happens that sort of seems to be stopping them. Sometimes people think, oh, I think the universe is trying to give me a sign here, but actually maybe it's you blocking it. Maybe it's not the universe at all. Looking at whether there's a fear of joy or a discomfort around joy if fear seems a bit strong for you. So shuffling for Tuesday. Okay, we have two cards come up. First one, third eye chakra. I know many of you are very familiar with chakras, but for those of you who are not, I will just do a very quick 101. So chakras are located in our energy field or our aura, and they are discs, like roundabouts or intersections that the energy is moving through. There are tons of them, but there are sort of 7 main ones that we concentrate on: Reiki and most forms of energy healing. Obviously we can go a lot deeper as well with that, but this is one of the 7. This is number 6 on the list. It's the third eye chakra. This illustration is stunning, absolutely stunning. Third eye chakra is about, there's 2 things. One, well, there's a lot of things, but 2 main things. One of them is about our ability to receive messages from the universe, to really, and of course the main one would be clairvoyance, because it's about sight. But of course our spiritual messages can also come through sound, through feelings, and through thoughts and ideas as well. So it's not limited to the clairvoyance. It can be about any sort of sight you're getting. Sometimes dreams can be a form of visual message receiving. But the other one with this one, which I find pretty interesting, is about perception. And I often give an example of how people can sometimes only see what they want to see. An example I give on my website, and I will post this article when I put this up on Instagram on Tuesday, is about how you see contestants on reality TV shows that they cannot sing to save themselves, but they seem to be genuinely unaware of that. They seem to think they've got potential to be a star. And when the judges on these shows knock them back and say, I'm really sorry, no, they get angry. They get into defensive mode because someone is challenging their worldview. So when we are deluded and not seeing what is true, when we are only seeing what we wanted to see, and when we are holding on to that stubbornly, even though people are pointing out, hey, there's actually something else going on here. That could be a block in the third eye chakra. It can either cause the block, or the block can be causing it. It's pretty hard to make a cause and effect relationship there. So are you seeing what you want to see instead of what's there? Another example is dating. Are you falling in love with someone's potential rather than their reality? The person you think they could be rather than who they are right now. So yeah, looking at whether we're seeing things clearly or whether we're just seeing what we want to see. Here we've got law of attraction. We had on Sunday a card about manifestation, same deal, all about how what we put out is what we're attracting. And obviously the law of attraction is the main way we do that, by trying to focus our thoughts primarily on what we want to attract. But attraction can also mean what we're attracting in our energy, all our wounding, our traumas, our limiting beliefs, what they're attracting. Sometimes people will say, but I'm trying to attract a healthy partner. I'm putting my focus into that, but I keep attracting people who are not emotionally available. What's that about? And it's not that they're doing the law of attraction wrong. It's that they're actually attracting because that's what their energy is sending out. It's not about their mindset. So we have to make sure we're working at a deep level here. If this is happening to you in some way, you're attracting a lot of what you don't want, then maybe your energy is attracting it. Maybe you're attracting situations that mirror the chaos of your childhood home, because that's what's normal for your energy. So it's pulling it in to give you a chance to heal it, and because that's your chance to actually move through it once and for all, so you can attract something healthy. Sometimes what we're attracting is not about our mindset, it's about what we're inadvertently attracting, unfortunately. And that's not to blame you, it's just about being aware there's a lot going on when we're trying to bring things through. It's not just about, oh, I want to attract a partner. It's not always that simple. So if you're getting stuck with the law of attraction, I hear you. For many years, I got very frustrated. Now, if you're not wanting to manifest something, I'm shuffling for Wednesday, but I'll continue my thought. If you're not wanting to attract something at the moment, there isn't a goal in your life, don't disregard that message necessarily, because it might be asking you to look at your stuff, your baggage. What are you attracting that keeps repeating? This is when our eyes are getting drawn to a pattern. What do you keep attracting, and what is that trying to tell you? Is there something going on here that you need to heal? So it's not just about goal setting and manifestation. Wednesday, innocence. Okay, I like this card. It's got the cutest little, I think, puppy in this angel's hands. She might be some sort of, anyway, I don't know what that is. An animal, cute animal. And I think this is a tricky one, because it asks us to see people as innocent. Now, this does not mean we absolve people of responsibility for their actions. It does not mean we should expect nothing from them because they're going to let us down. Not at all what this card is saying. It's just asking us to recognize everybody is human and doing the best they can. So if you are waging a war in your mind or outwardly against someone, calling them every name under the sun, really trying to convince other people perhaps of their, crappiness, whatever it is you're trying to, maybe this is reminding you that you're pouring a lot of energy into someone that you actually don't want to have a relationship or a dynamic with anymore, that you don't want to be engaged with. But every time you pour your energy and your focus into this person, you're keeping that energetic cord alive between you, even though that's not what you want. So we need to be aware of how we attach and cord into other people's energy sometimes. That's a bit of a tangent. Coming back to the main point here, the more energy you pour into someone you don't like, the more you are keeping yourself stuck. And if we're attached to something we don't want, there's no space to attract what we do, the healthier work environment, because we're too busy slagging off the boss. That might be an Australian term, I don't know if other people use that. But really think about, even though this person is a long way from ideal, and this could be even a situation that's a long way from ideal, just trying to recognize that everybody involved is doing the best they can. That doesn't mean they're blameless. It doesn't mean they're not making, a series of bad choices. It doesn't mean they're not, well, it could be anything really, but the important thing to recognize is that everybody is doing the best they can. And if they don't have the higher knowledge to act better, or they're resisting it, maybe because they're not seeing it, you need to make a call. What is in my control here and what is not? I cannot change another person, and me getting angry at them is not going to do anything. So what am I going to do here? Can I move away from a situation? I'll do that. If I can't move away from that situation, how can I reduce my exposure to this situation? If I can't do that, how can I change my mindset to deal with it? Where is the opportunity for acceptance here if I cannot take action? Figuring out what we can do here is important. But try not to get too into the whole demonizing other people. When we get into this heroes, villains narrative, it's really two-dimensional, and it doesn't hold space for all the myriad qualities that we have and the complexity of human nature. No one is solely bad or solely good. We're all shades of it, even people on a spiritual, especially people on a spiritual path. So be really careful not to, this is a bad person, there's no good in them. This is a good person, I'm going to worship them. Just be really careful where you're going with that labeling. And just recognize we're all doing the best we can, and if someone's not in alignment with you, don't engage with them. You don't have to run them down, and you certainly don't have to educate them or teach them to do things your way. That's not your job. Thursday, be positive. This says your thoughts can shape your experience, so be sure to focus on the positive. Now, before you all start bringing up toxic positivity, let me reassure you that is not what this card is about, at least not in my interpretation. So, and of course, if you're reading this, you're probably resonating with my interpretation of messages anyway. The cards can be read however we want to read them anyway. So if you get something different from these cards, please go with that. Side note there, coming back to this is about being optimistic about the future. It does not mean you should pretend everything is perfect when it's not. It does not mean you should deny your experience. That is going into this perception stuff. And it doesn't mean you have to deny yourself the sadness of whatever or disappointment of whatever you're going through and immediately go looking for the good lesson here. Sometimes people go into this, everything happens for a reason, so I must look for the reason, then I'll feel okay about it. To be honest, you can go your whole life and still never figure out the reason some crappy things happen. So my advice would be try not to go looking for that reason in order to lift yourself out. Just practicing acceptance might be a little bit more helpful. Sometimes it's only years down the track that we might see, oh, the reason I wasn't supposed to move to that city is because it had a natural disaster, or I don't know, it could be anything. And sometimes you may get no reason at all. I once missed a flight, very expensive, and I was convinced there must be something terrible happening on that plane. Otherwise, why else would I miss that plane? I missed the plane because of my poor time management. That is why I missed the plane. That is the reason. And even if it wasn't my bad time management at that time, and I learned an important lesson, believe me, I've never missed a plane since. That was 15 years ago. Even if it wasn't my fault, it was circumstances conspired against me. There could have been a reason. Maybe there wasn't, and I'll never find out. That's okay. I'm not going to spend too much time trying to deduce the reason. Oh, that was a massive tangent. Coming back. So this is about being optimistic about the future in spite of what's going on. So you can still acknowledge the sadness, the crappiness of what's going on, but remember that does not define your future unless you let it. So just because this is happening for you now doesn't mean it's always going to be like that. So this is about making sure you don't let yourself feel the feelings, but don't let yourself go into that nothing ever works out for me, I'm a failure, etc. Those sort of shame characteristics. So I always try and put a stop loss on my negative feelings. I don't know if people use that word. I used to work at a supermarket years ago when I was a high school student. It was my part-time job, and we talked about stop loss, which is how much can the company sustain in terms of shoplifting and theft. Where's the stop loss? Where's the limit, which we say we're not going to worry about this anymore. If it goes over a certain limit, we're going to take preventative measures, but we accept there's going to be a certain amount of imperfect results. That was a grocery store policy. Maybe that's a bit random, but I try and put a limit on how much am I going to worry about this. I'm going to give myself a day to sulk, or I'm going to give myself a week to feel sad, and then I'm going to start taking measures, journaling about it, reaching out for a therapist session, whatever it is. But I'm not going to let myself slide so deep that I go, I'm giving up on everything, I'm never going to try again, etc. So being optimistic about the future and making sure that when you get to that point, after you've felt all the things, you can go, actually there is some good in this situation because I wasn't really that happy in that job anyway, or whatever it is. That's just an example. And that doesn't take away the fact that it has inconvenienced my life losing that job. That's not about the grocery store. That was just a random example. Here we go, Friday. I've forgotten how to pronounce this. If you are from Hawaii, I apologize for this, because this is your goddess here, or one of Pele, sorry, divine passion. And you can see from the volcano there, that's a whole lot of passion, which is what this Pele goddess is associated with. The card is asking us to think about, what do we actually desire to work towards this. We've had a lot of cards along this line recently, asking us to really come back to, what do I want? Am I sacrificing that to make other people happy, to keep myself safe, to avoid being judged by people? Am I trying to gaslight myself into accepting a less than situation because it could be worse? Or, you know, I've got no right to complain about my life. It's actually pretty good on paper. All these little ways we convince ourselves not to make changes that our soul's going, you need to get out of this situation, you need to go and do this, whatever it is. So look at what you're passionate about. And even if you're not contemplating life changes, this could be about bringing more passion into your life. Here we go again with the joy. What am I up to? Saturday, I feel like, it's 16 minutes. This is a long video. I'm sorry. I'm going to try and speed it up. You're a leader. The beautiful Joan of Arc here. Lovely to see. Now, for some of you, this will be quite literal. It's taking a step up in your career. Maybe you've got a leadership opportunity coming up and you're contemplating whether you're good enough. You are. It could be in your personal life. Maybe you need to take a leadership role in the family, and something's going on where someone needs to be guiding people out of the woods. But often this card, I find, is about being a leader to yourself. I know that sounds weird, but we often look to other people for inspiration instead of looking in here, and we've probably got already the skills to do it. With some spiritual support, and you can call on Joan of Arc if you want some help there, or of course Michael to bring in the strength and the courage and the confidence. What do I need to role model here to myself? What do I need here? What is the leadership? I need to make some changes. So how can I lead myself out of this situation instead of hoping someone else will do it? Someone else will provide the solution for me. Yeah, it sounds weird, doesn't it? Being a leader to yourself. But we often talk about being an adult to yourself, or a parent to yourself, and it's the same sort of thing. We look to other people for things instead of looking inside. Maybe I've got the capacity to do that. There is a child in me that needs the parent me to nurture that, to soothe myself. Maybe I need to give myself a pep talk here to be a leader. Come on, you've got this. Let's give it a go, and then we'll just see how we go. We'll try one day, and then we'll give ourselves a break to rest or relax, and then we'll try again. I don't know, whatever it is. That was a terrible pep talk. Sunday, are you sick of seeing this card? Frankly, I am. It has come up so much lately. I feel like the message writes itself when I go to write it. Prioritize, very Virgo-esque, that energy reminding us that things don't happen because we wait for them. They happen because we make them happen in concert with the universe. So we need to step up and get the work done. And that starts with being organized. Am I prioritizing time for my passions, for my goals, or am I just hoping that I've got some time left over to, shoehorn in this activity? Really getting organized with our time. And I've said this so many times, honestly, it's so true. The way we prioritize our time makes a statement to the universe, to the people around us, about what is important to us. So if all our time is spent looking after other people, trying to rescue other people, the statement we're making to the universe and to other people is that my needs don't matter. I don't matter. No, I know that's a bit harsh, but that is what it can come down to sometimes. We need to really look at how we're spending our time and what that says about us. And often in a situation like I just gave, it's because there is self-worth going on, issues going on there, but there's also a fear of stepping up. So sometimes we look for distractions to keep us from doing it, doing the thing that we need to do, starting the business we need to start, stepping up as a leader perhaps. It's funny how when we're afraid, we can send out a signal basically. I don't want to do this, I need to send out, I need to create a block, and sometimes you can develop a sickness suddenly, conveniently, to stop you from doing that thing you didn't want to do anyway. The body can respond to that, and sometimes people around us can respond to that. Someone shows up, oh sorry, I've got visitors now, I can't come. Look, these people have just turned up on my doorstep. Prioritize. So getting really organized about how we spend our time. I have waffled like anything. I hope some of it has been helpful to you. Joy and passion coming out really strong this week. And I think this idea of perception comes up as well. Seeing things as they really are instead of how we want them to be. Maybe that is seeing that we're actually blocking ourselves from our goals. We've all been there. No judgment. And perceiving that we need to lead ourselves. And perceiving that people are doing the best they can. Sorry, my hair is molting like anything. It's going everywhere. Sorry about that. Seeing that everybody is human and flawed and doing the best they can, and still we hold them to account, but we need to set our own boundaries as well. So there's so much more I can say about that. I'm going to leave it for now. Thanks everybody for being here. Oh, only 20 minutes, not too bad. Don't forget I'm on Instagram if you're not already following me. It's at OneGroundedAngel, OneGroundedAngel. It sounded like Sesame Street, didn't it? And the Facebook page is also called One Grounded Angel. My website is www.onegroundedangel.com, spelt the same way. So that's not the number one, it's O-N-E spelt out. You can find lots of information about the work I do. And if any of these messages have made you feel, oh, I think I've got a bit of healing to do, you might like to look up the energy healing work I do with people all around the world. Please don't think you have to be living in my town. None of my clients lives in my town, and yet I work with people all around the world. That's what technology does. So find that out on my website, and you can send me a booking form or a request for information via my website. That's www.onegroundedangel.com. Thank you so much. Have a terrific week, and see you next week.